Alright, game, what do you got for me? Oh, welcome back to more Pokemon Emerald Rouge. Turns out I couldn't squeeze all of this remaining footage into one video after all. Yay! More screen time for Skuntank. In the meantime, how about a quick rundown of what you missed if you weren't tuned in to the last episode? So, long story short, technology is stupid. I had to do post-commentary and redo the editing for the rest of this series. Which means reliving probably the worst moment I've made in Pokemon history. And somehow I still had the raw emotion even all these months later. So enough about the technical difficulties. There's definitely been enough community posts, game chill, and etc. to catch up on those details if you really care. Because of the blunder that we had last episode from a gameplay standpoint, now we have to rebuild our teams because turns out the champion Elite Four is not the final fight of the Pokemon Emerald Rouge run. Which means in the worst case scenario, bringing the Skuntank to the Hall of Fame with us. In the best case scenario, having the Skuntank lose the Hall of Fame for us. Not looking too pleasant for me either way. Man, I wish to all the Skuntank fans out there that I could trade you this Skuntank for any of the Pokemon that I've lost throughout the run. Luckily, Skuntank's not the only thing we're going to have in our team because we do get one normal route to catch Pokemon and rebuild our team on. Unfortunately, it was a route with like no pass and Vulpix, so I didn't exactly have enough Pokemon to round out the team. Oh, I guess when I said Vulpix I meant Rapidash. And Arcanine. There were actually wild Growlithes on one of these routes, so I was able to catch a Growlithe and rebuild Scarfy to the best of my abilities at the very least. Still not the same Pokemon, my friend. But it'll have to do. I don't really have room to complain anymore. Well, I did at least come up with a cool name for the Growlithe. Decided to call it Scar Phoenix because it's basically our good old friend Scarfy rising from the ashes. I'm not sure if Scar was an abbreviation of Scarfy or I was just feeling that metal that day. Honestly, too long in the past to remember for sure. But at least I was able to pick up a spare Firestone, get our Arcanine back, and rebuild it essentially to what we had before. So since there was only 3 Pokemon on the route, I decided to double up on Nosepass, but what if I told you that all the Pokemon that we caught don't even matter because I don't use a single one of them in the final fight? Behold, Clefairy. And what if I told you that this Pokemon was going to cheese the rest of the game for us? No joke. It may not look like much now, but we'll have plenty of time to see it in action. I've did a bit of preparation off screen, and let's just say I think I'm more than ready for this final fight. Come on, I had to try. I couldn't find a good opportunity to use that escape rope the entire game, and it would have been freaking hilarious if I could skip the final run with that Pokemon. Okay, maybe I was a bit exaggerated, the Clefairy doing the entire run with us. We're at least going to be leading off with one of the other Pokemon that we caught. And honestly, I guess it's probably for the best I lost the live commentary because I was so disgruntled and discouraged from the previous champion fight that I'm just like, yeah, just get your dialogue out of the way. Let's get this done and over with. None of this even matters anymore. That's essentially what my live commentary thoughts were at the time. And to be fair with y'all, I'm not sure how much I should commentate this because it's been a little bit between when I recorded this and when I'm playing it. So I don't remember all the details, but I do remember very clearly how it ends. So, having my nose pass be threatened by a Mothim was not on the agenda today, but I guess that goes to show you just how much the IVs and the EVs matter in this run. Yeah, I think we're at the point where everything exciting that's gonna happen in this fight has already ended. Cause I'm not sure if you can tell by my moveset where this is gonna go. But yeah, if you know anything about stored power, then yes, the fight is gonna go in that direction. And we're all gonna quote-unquote have fun with it. So while I set up to inevitably sweep his entire team, how's it going with you all? Personally, I've had to fight my way through a huge wall of discouragement from a variety of small little factors. Obviously, the hard drive and sick combo doesn't help at all. But I also wasn't too happy with how videos have been doing lately. With being too sick to record any new videos, I thought the whole idea I had of doing a highlight reel of my best moments from 2024 was a good idea. But as of recording this, it doesn't really seem to be panning out that way, which really is a shame because I put a lot into the editing of that. So seeing it only get like 3 views, at least as I'm recording this, is a bit discouraging. Granted, I still have to upload part 2, and it's already edited, so I might as well, but I definitely don't feel too encouraged to ever do a big editing project like that going forward into the future. And just like Emerald Rouge, the reception to the SNES videos, and then that has just been really discouraging on YouTube in general. So even though I'm starting to feel better enough to actually build up to the plans I had for 2025, it already feels like those plans are changing because I'm not really sure if I want to do the things I initially had planned on doing. But I'm just ranting to get this out of my system. I would wait until a gaming chill or a community post before taking anything I say about that too seriously. Because it's not like I stopped liking playing games. I've just been going back and forth a lot lately of if it's worth taking away from the time that I could use to build up my game development skills and reach towards the ideals that I've been building up to since childhood. Plus, it's not just YouTube, I've been feeling discouraged on a lot of things as a whole. Being sick for so long, and still not 100%, kinda makes me wonder if I'm ever gonna get better on that front. I just have to keep reminding myself that I am improving, cause like, I am doing better enough to record without having to make any sort of special exception, and there's been other things I've been setting up to, today in particular, but I'll get more into that later. And I'm not gonna bring too many personal factors into all this, but let's just say even without the sickness, life as a whole has been pretty discouraging with everything going on in the world as of now. Oh hey, you know, this is the perfect time to change the subject. Cause surely I can't just store power my way through a Steel-type Pokemon, especially one of legendary stats, right? Right? You know, if it didn't go for frickin' that turn 1, and went for something like a Steel-type move, maybe this Dialga would have been actually scary. Because sure, I couldn't just one-shot it with stored power, but it sure as heck didn't do a lot to stop me from using 2 stored powers to finish it off. And I get the feeling that's the worst that he can throw at me. Cause Manphy, probably one shot with stored power. Though I do have like 20 bazillion max potions, so I might as well make use out of them while I can. Better safe than sorry after all. You know, that could be scary. What do I do about it? Going for a super effective move instead of a stored power? You know, I kinda wonder if that even matters. Not really, I could go back and forth all day if I should have gone for stored power because of how powerful it is, or Thunderbolt because of the super effective damage. But in the end, it got one shot, so I guess it doesn't matter that much. Speaking of which, I remember the days when Morris was a scary Pokemon. Certainly not today. My only regret is that I didn't cut down or edit around any of these Pokemon, because in hindsight, I could very easily just cut to when they pop out, cut to when I use store power, and cut to them faint, and not much would have been lost. Of course, as soon as I say that, I come across a Pokemon that, well, see for yourself. I guess it's not that scary. It just didn't get one shot by the store powered. And hypothetically, the fact that it was doing super effective damage against me could have been scary. Didn't really matter. Again, maybe I should have gone for Moonblast the first time instead of the store power, but I was running on autopilot for a lot of this, if you couldn't tell. Like, I honestly felt nothing going into this Hall of Fame, hearing the jingle. That's like how much my team meant to me, that going through it with most of them knocked out right at the very end, and having to pick up this stupid Stunk Tank instead, that kind of just killed all my motivation for this entire run. And I'm just glad that it's all over at this point. It's a bit of a shame. I did enjoy Emerald Rouge up to a point. I did enjoy this run up to a point. I'm pretty sure if I were to go back to Emerald Rouge without the context of this playthrough, that I would enjoy Emerald Rouge again. But at this point, I think it's like recording at the very end of the day, already discouraged about the run itself, but freaking tired and exhausted, just wanted to go to bed on top of that. And then the game throws this stupid, do you want to do a victory lap option in my face? And for some reason, I didn't just say no. I guess out of curiosity, FOMO, out of possibly missing out on extra battle points or whatever from skipping out on it. But here we are, with the video extending out way longer than it needs to be, because I decided to do the stupid victory lap mode. Don't worry. We'll be here a little bit, but not too long. The overpoweredness of the teams in this victory lap will assure that. Even with my quadrillion max potions. Between their raw power and my anti-motivation to keep pressing forward, we'll end things off sooner rather than later. So, you know what, instead of dwelling on all that, how about I use this opportunity to give my closing thoughts of the playthrough as a whole. At least beyond the complaining that I've already done. So, I'm sure in another timeline, I would have been happy, ecstatic, that I actually did this. Emerald Rouge is overall a fun ROM hack. The concept of going through it with a Hisui Pokedex when that's been one of my most favorite regions in recent memory is fun. And if we count the team that's been with us for the majority of the adventure and not just who made it to the Hall of Fame, I can confidently say that I really enjoyed the team that we were able to build up throughout the course of this adventure. It's just that the run itself seemed cursed in ways beyond gameplay. Well, to be fair though, gameplay didn't help, especially at the end. But like, it just felt like... The unfortunate part about trying to do a playthrough of a Pokemon Emerald Rouge run is that a full run takes a long time. And I'm not good at streaming for very extended periods of time. For those of you who don't follow my streams, I typically only go for like 2 hours, 3 or 4 on a really good day, but definitely average closer to an hour and a half to 2 hour streams, which, as much as I want to do streams of roguelike, whether it be an actual roguelike game or a roguelike mode added on to a game such as this one, it's just never seems to be a good combination because I don't typically like doing one game for multiple streams in a row unless I'm flat out doing a quote-unquote LP. And I thought I was having enough fun with Pokemon Emerald Rouge that I could actually stick through this the same way I would a normal playthrough, but so many factors just felt like they were against me that just sucked out all the fun of the run. It is nice to actually be done recording the very last part of this playthrough though, because that's one more albatross I can finally get off my neck. And this is actually the albatross I was dreading the most to get off my neck. So there will be some amount of relief to finally get this last episode up and be able to move on to bigger and greener pastures. So I think it's safe to say that I will not be doing anything more with Pokemon Emerald Rouge, at least on YouTube. Someday after all this has died down, maybe I'll play it more on my own time again. But a lot has changed in my life over the course of recording and editing this single playthrough. And besides, I set out to accomplish what I wanted to do with Pokemon Emerald Rouge. I wanted to do a playthrough of a run to show off the game to anyone watching me that may not have seen it before. I got through the run, and you all seen it in action. Mission accomplished. More importantly, I think I can finally start attempting to record Pokemon XG post-game because I've been going back and forth of if I should go back to that or not with everything that's been going on, but I did enjoy the game a lot as I was playing it. Just today I got set up on the new computer so I don't have to record off the Steam Deck, which should in theory make the recording process a lot easier going forward in the post-game. And now that there's nothing else from the past that I have to do, this seems like a good time to finally come back to it. Granted, the Pokemon playthroughs take a lot of time to edit, so I wouldn't expect it to start up right away. There will probably be a bit of a hiatus between when this is uploaded and when I resume Pokemon XG. And just to clarify, even though I do plan to touch the post-game, it should be very apparent and clear that I don't plan on doing 100% everything. If only because Rouge Coliseum exists, and I can't even do that stuff on a vanilla playthrough of XD. There's no way I can do Rouge Coliseum in a hard mode. I'll probably attempt at least a little of it, if only to avoid disappointing that one comment that I got on a YouTube short that I actually replied to saying, "I can't wait to get bodied by Rouge Coliseum." I feel like I'd be letting that person down in particular if I skipped it altogether. But I make no promises in doing everything in Pokemon XG. I'm basically gonna just play the post game until I get all the Shadow Pokemon. Finish Mount Battle, if only because we're so close. And play as much of it as I want before deciding to move on. And after that, I don't know. I've been going back and forth if I want to keep doing playthroughs, or give that time for more game development adventures. But I'll just say it here, even though I'm not certain if I'm going to go through with it yet. I do want to bring my game development journey more to YouTube in of itself. I've been even debating if it's worth making another channel specifically for like game development vlogs and the like, just so it's not competing with the drastically different playthrough commentaries that I typically do here. Probably not, because managing one YouTube channel is enough work on me as is, but it has been a consideration I've had for a very long time, essentially since I got into God development in the first place. It just hasn't been a serious thought for most of this time. But again, most of this is for the future. With how quickly things have been changing, I'm not even sure if half of what I say will still even be relevant by the time y'all get this video. The only things I feel 100% confident in at the moment is I want to continue my pursuit in game development. After that, with not 100% confidence, but fairly close, would be the concept of finishing up the loose ends of playthroughs and other projects I've started on YouTube before making any drastic changes to the channel. I just thought I'd be far enough along at this point where I was done using ifs and maybes and coming soon, and actually be implementing some of those goals that I had by now. Unfortunately, life rarely seems to go exactly how we plan, and even just over the course of doing this commentary, I can feel a little strain in my voice, so I'm not sure if I'm 100% better yet. I've been flowing between like the 60 to 99%, depending on how good the day is. So yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully by the time you're even seeing this video, I'll feel a lot more confident about my plans going forward. In the meantime, we just all gotta wait together until I decide to give up and just let the Galley hit me instead of going through each of my individual max potions and just accept that I'm not getting more than one victory out of the victory lap. I should just appreciate that I got even the one victory of said victory lap. So that does it. We're finally here at the end of this Hisui themed Pokemon Emerald Rouge run. I think I got everything I want to say out of the way, so all that's left to do is watch the credits play and just appreciate this closing thematic. At least as soon as I stop the recording and make a new one, because my god, this recording session was going on for at least 2 hours without break. So, considering everything I've gone through, you can't blame me for being a little bit paranoid and wanting to make sure that everything was okay. Besides, this is probably my favorite part of the entire run, just getting to see the whole gang, see how we grew along the way, who we just walked by relatively quickly. Man, I'm finally remembering Spaghetti. Spaghetti had a lot of potential to go all the way, and yet, here we are. And then Slice, who just pretty much got one shot the moment that he got used because of frickin' effort values. Can't blame them exclusively. I'm sure I could have played a little bit better there, but still. Oh no, no. Okay, they're back. I don't know why the game's so confused at this point, but I can't help but be filled with dread because I know the moment's gonna come. The moment where I watch my whole team disappear from me right at the end, right at the thank you for playing. That's gonna hurt so bad. Thanks for making Rogue larger than you could ever imagine? No problem, thank you for making this in the first place. I just wish my playthrough could have done a better justice. I was just about to comment, well there they go, but there they are right at the back there. In a sense, I guess they did make it to the end with us. I'll take that. Once more, thank you all for tuning in to the highs and lows of this adventure in Pokemon Emerald Rouge. Stay tuned to social media and YouTube community posts for more details of what's going to happen next. But until we reach that point, thank you all for watching, and take care.